What? That's... You made a mistake with the bus arrangement, didn't you? I understand you're panicking, but it's not good to blame someone else.
I want to become a woman my father can be proud of, as a way of repaying him for raising me.
That's wonderful. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have generalized all men. This tea doesn't have any sharp or bitter notes, but it has a deep sweetness and a refined aroma. It's delicious.
You're quite knowledgeable. You're exactly right. Kyoto's Gyokuro tea leaves are especially prized for their sweetness.
I'm Kento Kawane, stopping by a Japanese tea shop during a business trip, enjoying tasting of my favorite sencha teas. I'm 27 years old, working for a major travel agency, and I'm constantly on business trips all over the country. Thanks to that, I get to enjoy my favorite Japanese tea, as well as all sorts of local gourmet food. I can share the knowledge I gain with our travelers, so it's really killing two birds with one stone. Kawane, you're working hard on your business trip to Kyoto. Even with all these trips, Kawane, you never look tired. You really love this job, don't you? He is Director Issei. He's an amazing person who became a director at the youngest age ever. But he's also very friendly, and I respect him. Yes, I do. I believe it's my calling. Besides, while scenery and experiences are often prioritized these days, I think the basics of travel enjoyment are gourmet food. I'll do my best to attract even more customers to next spring's Hokkaido Gourmet Tour. Is that so? Kawane, I'm counting on you. Director Issei is so friendly and cheerful. He's also very attentive to his subordinates at work. The bus company I arranged went bankrupt. What am I gonna do? There's not much time. In that case, a bus company I'm familiar with might be able to help, even at this late hour. I'll arrange it. Really? Thank you so much. The director is really reliable. I'll do my best to catch up to him quickly. However, that fulfilling work life suddenly changed one day. Huh? The bus hasn't been arranged? No, that can't be. I'm being told that 2 chartered buses needed for part of a company trip for 100 people haven't arrived at the site. Naturally, the employee in charge is furious, but there's no way to arrange chartered buses on such short notice. I'm so sorry. We can adjust part of the itinerary so that buses aren't needed. I somehow managed to convince them with my proposal. Still, we need to issue refunds, and it'll be difficult to continue the contract next year. I know the cause. I headed to the director's desk and reported the trouble that had just occurred. Director, I need to talk to you about the bus company you urgently arranged the other day. The buses haven't arrived at the site. What happened? I had no intention of blaming him, but the director's words were unbelievable. Huh? Bus? What are you talking about? I don't know anything about that. What? That's... You made a mistake with the bus arrangement, didn't you? I understand you're panicking, but it's not good to blame someone else. The company for this employee trip isn't large, but they're an important client that our president has been dealing with since he was young. If we lose the contract, it'll be a disaster. You should be prepared for that. I immediately understood from the director's demeanor. He was panicking about the magnitude of his mistake and wanted to shift the blame. I never expected the director, whom I trusted, to lie like this for self-preservation. That's impossible. After that, I was summoned by the president because I had angered a long-standing important client. I needed to prove my innocence, so I checked my past internal chat logs with the director. But the part where we discussed the bus arrangement had been deleted for some reason. Could it be? Using his director privileges? He went this far. In the end, I was forced to take all the responsibility, and I was completely isolated. surrounded by employees who were believers of the accomplished director.
How could he try to blame the kind director? Was he desperate for self-preservation? What an ingrate.
I lost my place and my motivation, and this was the trigger for me to leave the company. I'm so done with the power dynamics in a company. After resigning, I wasn't looking for a new job, but I was thinking about whether there was a job where I could use my current knowledge and experience. I thought it was my calling. But now, I'm afraid that even that feeling is gone because of the betrayal. This shop. What suddenly caught my eye was a small run-down coffee shop that I used to frequent. The elderly owner had closed it down due to her age, but the shop remained as it was, and there was no notice for renting it out. I really loved this shop. The owner was a very nice person. This is it. With an impulse close to a flash of inspiration, I went around to the main house and rang the doorbell.
Oh, Kento? It's been a while. Thank you for frequenting my shop back then.
I'm glad to see you're doing well. Aren't you renting out the shop? I'd like to take it over if that's okay.
Oh, what a surprise. You want to rent the shop? Of course, I'd be delighted if it were you, Kento. I see. That shop? Thank you.
The old woman repeated her words, nodding as if she was savoring them. Her expression looked somewhat happy. When I asked, she said that she felt lonely about closing the shop in her declining health, and she hadn't been able to put up a notice for renting it out.
If the shop opens, I'll be looking forward to visiting as a customer this time.
It wasn't that I was trying to repay her kindness or anything, but as a result, if it makes her happy, that's all that matters. I was also happy about that small promise, and I bowed deeply. So, things progressed quickly, and I started preparing to open the coffee shop. The former owner, the old woman, would sometimes drop by to check on me and bring me snacks.
Have you decided what kind of shop you're going to make it?
Yes, I'm thinking of serving Japanese tea. Thanks to my business trips all over Japan, I've become quite knowledgeable about all kinds of local gourmet food. Among them, I thought of something that is in demand by people of all ages and can be operated as both a cafe and a bar. With Japanese tea, I'm sure I can make the most of my knowledge. The interior and equipment were left as they were. I arranged the Japanese tea I had purchased from various places in the glass case where coffee used to be displayed. The only new things I prepared were teapots and teacups, and I was able to open the shop at a very low cost.
So relaxing. The time I spend here drinking Japanese tea and enjoying sweets that go well with it is the most chill time.
Chill? What does that mean?
Huh? Kento, you're only 27, right? It's bad if you don't know things like that.
She is Sumire. I only know that she is a 21-year-old university student. She is the shop's first regular customer. She says there are coffee shops everywhere and is truly happy that a Japanese tea specialty shop is opened.
It's amazing how you became a popular shop so quickly, even though some customers have been coming since the coffee shop days.
During the day, the sale of Japanese tea and the in-store tasting set of Japanese teas from various regions are well received. At night, we also serve alcohol made with matcha, and the customer traffic has been good since we opened. Well, it's just a coincidence. I need to increase the number of regular customers like Sumire. After all, I'm a novice when it comes to business.
You had a boss who blamed you for their mistakes when you were a company employee, right? That was really unfortunate. But why would a grown adult do something like that?
Why, you ask? I guess it's because everyone, in the end, cares about themselves the most, right?
That's not true. My father raised me alone after my mother died early. For my sake, my father must have sacrificed everything. I respect my father for that.
I see. Sumire's father is a wonderful person. I wonder if it's my bias. Due to my experience, that makes me think that such people are a minority in this day and age.
I want to become a woman my father can be proud of, as a way of repaying him for raising me.
That's wonderful. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have generalized all men.
Oh, I'm sorry too. For some reason, I have a habit of getting heated when it comes to my father.
Sumire apologized, sticking out her tongue. She must really love her father. I also honestly reflected on my generalization, and we had a good time as usual. There's a guy who had become a regular at the shop after Sumire. Give me a shochu with matcha, on the rocks. Rice shochu, 3 scoops of Nishio matcha with a tea scoop, and 5 ice cubes. Thanks. Yes, certainly. It's Chiran, my classmate from university who always makes slightly troublesome orders. He must have heard rumors about me somewhere, and he comes to the shop almost as often as Sumire. Of course, the two of them meet at the shop many times, and naturally, start talking to each other. Kento is making this tea in a way that allows you to enjoy the sweetness of the tea leaves. So why do you eat snacks with it?
Isn't that a matter of personal preference? Imposing your values like that is the least attractive thing you can do these days, you know?
I'm not talking about being attractive or not. Don't try to shift the point of your area of expertise. That's a bad habit of young people.
Ugh, Chiran, you're always such a pain. Can you just drop the old man act?
I'm sorry, Sumire. Chiran has always been a bit quick-witted, so he tends to say too much. Or he's not honest.
It's not something Kento should apologize for, but I don't think Chiran is a suitable friend for Kento.
It's not for you to decide who my friends are. Kento chose me as his friend, that's all.
Ugh, he really gets on my nerves.
Sumire and Chiran are always arguing like that. But I was so surprised by Sumire's next words that I lost my voice.
Chiran seems so confident, but can you beat my father? He was featured in a business magazine last month. The future of travel agencies as envisioned by the youngest ever promoted director. Isn't that amazing?
The face on the screen of the smartphone Sumire showed me was one I couldn't forget, even if I wanted to. Huh? Director Issei, the very person who drove me to resign, is, unbelievably, Sumire's proud father. No way! Unfortunately, I was preparing to sue Director Issei. Considering what he did, it's only natural that he should be sued. But for her, he's the father who poured all his love into her, even for her mother's share. Sumire's heart, which loves and respects her father so much. I don't care about your parents. I'm talking to you, one-on-one. Stop shifting the point.
I'm not shifting anything. Can you please read this article properly?
Perhaps noticing my strange behavior, the calm Chiran tried to keep the conversation going and cover me. I was planning to sue the director when the shop calmed down, but I was starting to have second thoughts. After agonizing over it for a few days, I called Chiran, whom I had been consulting with, to the shop before opening hours. I've thought about it a lot, but I've decided not to sue him. Is it because she's an important regular customer? Or are you in love with her? What are you saying? Of course it's because she's a regular customer. I wonder. Don't underestimate my ability to see through people, ha! We continued talking, and before we knew it, it was past opening time.
Good afternoon. The sign outside still said closed, but it's opening time, so I came in.
Sumire, please, come in.
Oh, Chiran, you're here. We've been seeing each other a lot lately.
Don't lump me in with you. I'm not free like a student. I'm here for work too.
How can you say it's for work when you're drinking shochu with matcha? Kento, I'll have the Shizuoka tasting set today. I'll use the restroom.
After Sumire disappeared into the restroom in the back, Chiron started continuing our earlier conversation. So, are you really okay with this? He's the hateful boss who drove you out. You've even gathered evidence. Hey, she can hear you. Stop talking about that now. Whether you sue or not, there will come a time when you have to tell Sumire about this. Especially if you care about her. I know, but for Sumire, he's the father who raised her single-handedly.
Huh? Sue? What do you mean?
Meanwhile, Sumire was frozen in the restroom. She seems to have heard my quiet voice.
Sue, the hateful boss who drove him out? Could it be that the person who drove Kento to quit his job was my dad?
After that, Sumire, who came back from the restroom, seemed to be somewhere else. After finishing her tea, she quietly left and suddenly stopped coming to the shop. Kento, you're here, aren't you? One day, before opening, I heard the sound of the door being opened violently, and a man entered the shop. It's been a while, Director Issei. We're not open yet. I'm not a customer. You shouldn't suddenly resort to legal action. We should talk first. He seems to have received a certified letter from my lawyer and rushed to find out my whereabouts in the shop. Yes, I eventually decided to sue him. The former director is a shadow of his former self. I wonder if he was wearing a mask. I believe it said in the letter that we should communicate through our lawyers. I don't care about that, but my daughter recently told me she was hooked on a Japanese tea cafe, and I never imagined it was Kento's shop. Sumire is one of our regular customers, but that's one thing, and this is another. It's a separate issue. I'll make sure you take responsibility for driving me to voluntary resignation. Who do you think you are? I have a proposal. I'll pay you compensation, but there are conditions. Don't ever have anything to do with Sumire again, and keep this a secret from Sumire. How about it? Director Issei is supposed to be on the defensive, but he's strangely confident. I remembered the time when he blamed me for his mistake. Director, Why is the person paying compensation making demands? Do you understand your current position? As I was dumbfounded by Director Issei's preposterous proposal, the door of the shop opened. Apparently, the director was so loud that his voice could be heard outside this old building. Who is this rude, foul-mouthed man, Kento's friend? Well, he is a friend from my university days. I'm Chiron, Kento Kawane's lawyer. Can you please not talk to my client without my permission? Oh. That's right. Chiron's profession is a lawyer. He was definitely here for work too. When the director learned Chiron's profession, he seemed to realize that he was in trouble. He broke out in a cold sweat and softened his attitude. I'm sorry about that. So, Mr. Lawyer, will you accept the conditions I mentioned earlier? I'll pay compensation, so keep this a secret from my daughter. What's so funny? Well, I'm sorry. It's completely too late. Too late? Yes, it's too late. I mean, these coincidences do happen. I'm also a regular here, and I see your daughter quite often. But this is the first time our timing for entering the shop is overlapped. You don't mean? Yes, I do. I tried to stop her and asked her to wait, but her voice could be heard clearly outside. So, I'm sorry to keep you waiting. You can come in. At Chiron's words, the door opened with a lovely chime. Sumire! The director couldn't hide his agitation at his daughter's appearance. Sumire clenched her fists, her shoulders trembling with anger, and glared at her dad.
Dad?
Sumire whispered in a quietly trembling voice, Her voice was filled with disappointment in her father.
You didn't admit your mistake at work and blamed it on Kento. Not only that, you drove him to resign. You did something that could get you sued.
That's not true, Sumire. There was a misunderstanding.
Misunderstanding? Then why did Kento quit the job he loved so much and is working here?
Oh.
I always respected my father. I believed in you. I never thought you were the kind of person who would trap others and even yell and hurl abuse.
Wait, Sumire. It's not like I trapped him. And the yelling, that was really just a one-time thing.
Exaggeration? A one-time thing? Stop it. Don't disappoint me any further. You messed up Kento's life. You did something that could get you sued. I'm frustrated. I'm sad. I was the one who wasn't worthy of Kento.
Sumire, you're not to blame. Director, I was going to stop suing you at one point. Because I found out that you were a very loving and respected father to Sumire. But I still sued you, because Sumire asked me to. Huh? The director looked at Sumire with an expression of disbelief. This was about 10 days after Sumire stopped coming to the shop.
Kento, please, don't think of him as my father and sue him.
Sumire, who hadn't come to the shop for a while, came just before closing time and said that. That's when I finally realized why she hadn't come to the shop for a while. Sumire, are you sure? If I sue, your father will at least lose his current position.
It's fine. Once I learned the truth, I had no reason to be happy about my father's promotion.
Saying that, she bowed deeply and asked us. I could tell from her appearance that she had come to this conclusion after much thought and deliberation.
You know, I really respected my dad. He raised me alone and he was promoted to section chief and then director. He had a kind personality and I was proud of him. I even thought until recently that I wanted to marry someone like my dad, but it was all fake.
Ugh, Sumire, that's not true. Your dad loves you and cherishes you, and he wanted to be a father you could be proud of, even just a little.
Then, admit your sins and atone for them, and apologize to Kento. If there's even a little bit of the father I respected and loved so much left in you.
Ugh. Kento, Sumire, I truly apologize. The director kept his head bowed until we started preparing for the opening. Whether the father Sumire believed in, the director I believed in, was still there, even a little. Even the director himself didn't know anymore. After that, word spread in my old travel agency that I had sued the director, and the Me Too movement intensified. Subordinates who had been suffering from the director's harassment started speaking out all at once. It turned out that there were many victims who had been silent. Fearing the director's history of being promoted at the youngest age, it was commonplace to have mistakes blamed on them or to have their achievements stolen. The company's top management summoned Director Issei for questioning after receiving reports of damage from many employees. He didn't argue at all at that time, and he admitted everything. He voluntarily resigned. He chose to give up the position in the company that he had been so particular about, and he said he would pay me compensation, and after that, he didn't look for another job. He seems to be spending his days doing volunteer work, perhaps for self-improvement. He seems to be trying to regain his daughter's trust, but the strong feelings she once had will probably never return.
It's so kind of you to hesitate to sue because you were thinking about my feelings.
And the series of events came to an end, and our usual daily life returned. I always heard from you how much you loved your father. To me, he was a boss who betrayed me, but to you, he was a wonderful father. Because my heart hurt so much when I was betrayed, I was worried about your heart, especially since he's your flesh and blood, right?
Kento, you really have a beautiful heart, and yet I even said that the foul-mouthed Chiron wasn't worthy of being Kento's friend. Kento, I'm sorry.
Well, if you're gonna apologize to me, I might listen if you look me in the eye.
Sorry.
Hey, Chiron, give her a break. Ha, well, I forgive you, for the sake of you and this delicious tea. Yeah, thank you, Chiron. I think most people, to a greater or lesser extent, want to be someone they can be proud of in front of the people they care about. Someone you can be proud of probably varies from person to person, but I think you shouldn't lose your integrity. But you know, I don't think I would have worried about your heart this much if it wasn't you. Hey, Sumire, So, if romantic feelings are involved, can that be called integrity? I told her, who said that my heart was pure, that I thought it was probably a little different from pure integrity.
Hi guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. This was such a heartwarming story. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video.